It's a dual live simulcast broadcast of the You're Still Here podcast, and I get some things that, who knows, maybe I'll get booted off both these platforms by the end of this, but there's a distinct chance of that. I made the mistake of wanting to leave the door open. How dare I leave the door open? I wanted to have a little daylight in here. It gives you a different energy when the window's open, when the door's open. And what do you think happened? Because I was going to start this like 15 minutes ago. The second I go to hit live, out come the sirens, out come every single fire that's ever happened. And you want to know how things go? That's how they go. It's like the minute I went to go live on both of these platforms, the Squid Games started. Just so now I have to sit in a dark room. It feels like 3 a.m. and do both of these things. So I took last week off, and I just kind of do that unannounced. I'm going to make a deal. Once every 6 weeks, I'm just taking a week off. And guess who I have to report to? Nobody. That's the beautiful thing about this, is when nobody cares about you on either of these platforms, you can do whatever you want. And then there's that one guy who's like, hey, man, I missed the podcast. Oh, well, I had to go down to Tampa and celebrate my birthday, but we'll get to that in just a second. But why do that when I can just talk about that right now? So it's going to be hard for me. It's going to be hard for me to, I say this every time I do some sort of live, at the end, I'll field questions to go back and forth on, but I'm not going to do that because there's nothing more unentertaining than looking at that person. I say this all the time. There's nothing more unentertaining, tongue twister, than somebody just staring at the camera, answering awful oh hey Dan here. So I'm just going to skip that. I went down to Tampa. I did a little birthday celebration, but when you celebrate your birthday, people, do it like an adult. Don't tell anyone it's your birthday. Just do it on your own. You say, yo, you guys want to go out on Saturday? And if they naturally want to go out, then you go out and just kind of celebrate your birthday in silence. That's the professional way how to do it as an adult. These people who wrangle you out they drag you out 9 nights celebrating your birthday. What a selfish rat bastard. And yeah, we're cursing. I've decided, enough of the self-censoring. That's never been who I am, and it's never going to be who I will be. The fakest sentence you've ever heard. But these people who make you go out there and, Friday, we're going to do, and unfortunately, this tends to be more on the girl side, but they drag you out for this. Oh, then the dinner. And then, the brunch. And then the night out. How about no? How about none of that? How about I give you I should come over and we should watch something. That should be it. Yeah, because, on your birthday, they're not going to make you pay. So you're wheeling and dealing all these people out there, making them fund all these activities. You're endless. Oh, it's my birthday week. It's my birthday month. No, it's nothing. That's what it should be. And with all that said, I went down to Tampa and celebrated my birthday. And being that I was in Tampa, it's only natural when you think of Tampa to act 20 years younger than you currently are. It's Brady land. So that's what I did. Went there. One of the benefits or downfalls of having a brother in college is once in a while you have to go visit that brother who's in college. Fortunately, I'm on the TB12. I'm on the TB12 diet, but it's kind of my own one. I did have I just happened to be passing some place, and I ended up getting, I got a sweet tooth. I'm not going to lie. Sweet tooth. And I ended up getting, it's this place in Tampa, and I was driving by. Oh, I can remember the name. It's called Dough. And I think that's it. DOUGH. And I saw that it's like a dessert type of place, and I saw on the door travel channel sticker, along with like an MTV sticker. And my dumb mind thought, oh, well, this has got to be diners, drive-ins. It's got to be one of those places. And then I thought, and look, I up a couple scams to tell you about, but I'm not going to include this one as part of it. But if you're opening up any sort of restaurant, and you're opening up anything like that, Just get a Travel Channel sticker. Get stickers to all these networks and just start pasting them right on your door. Anybody who drives by, don't say, oh, we got the best steak in town. I know I've already told you that scam where you're allowed to put anything you want on the side of your business as long as it's in quotes. You know, so you could just say like, oh, best pizza in New York, voted the best pizza in New York. And then you just put it in quotes and, you know, generic Yelper said it, who's been going out with this person for 10 years. So, yeah, if I was opening a restaurant, opening any sort of place, I'm putting Travel Channel stickers everywhere. A Food Network every network stickers going right on the side door. And then when people, if somebody actually called me out on that, I just be like, no, I just love the networks. Great shows on it. So I just thought it'd be nice to let other people know how much I enjoy those networks. Because, I mean, it worked on me as a passerby. And by the way, I want to rip this place. The place I got a peanut butter pie. That's what I got from Doe in Tampa. So on the negative 10% chance that person is watching, thank you for the peanut butter pie. And thank you for seeing it was my birthday and charging me extra. You know what is wild? As I was just telling you the end of that, I had something that I wanted to talk about lined up, and it's already gone. That's all it takes. 4 seconds, and it's gone. But I do know that it was supposed to be a lead-in to the Squid Game. Squid Game, yes. And I said that the horns out there kind of sound like what, you know, when I opened the door before, it sounded like Squid Game was going to be starting any second. And I watched that while I was in Tampa with my brother, and, you know, once in a while, since I'm older than him, you know, it's almost like he doesn't want to disappoint me, and he goes like, hey, do you watch this in English, or do you watch it in the native language? And I told him, I said, look, if you watch anything with a dubbed voiceover, you are an absolute donkey. And like, you're a disgrace. You're a disgrace. And this is not even one of those things like, oh, tomato, this way, that way. Oh, I don't like reading the cat. Do you understand that if you don't watch something, anything, not just Squid Game, but if you see any language, if you're watching the dubbed over version of that, you're literally taking the thing that made it what it is and just replacing it with two people who were not on set and after the fact were in a room just reading. The voiceover actors to movies in other languages are the Party City version of models to the modeling industry. You know, when you go into Party City on Halloween and you just see those generic people as generic pirate? Yeah, they are to modeling what the voiceover actors are to these shows. You can't watch it in the non-native language. You got to understand every single scene was curtailed specifically. The director was on set, so it means if the take just went a little off, not in the vision of the way it was supposed to be, they reshot it, they redid it until they got it absolutely right. After the fact, you just got these two American idiots. Oh, hello, just reading off the cards like they're recording an animated voiceover. It's full trash. And look, by the way, you better not be, any of you on YouTube, whatever, Instagram, you better not be writing anything. Don't you write anything trying to defend it, because now you've put yourself out there that you're one of these people. Just don't say anything. Here's what we do when we're wrong. The next day we wake up and pretend like we never said it and then pawn off the opposite opinion like it was always ours. It's way better. Don't try to take your I needed to hear it in English anywhere, because that's awful. That is awful. But it was good. I did enjoy it. But then again, you know, that kind of stuff is me. I like horror movies and anything of that echelon. So I obviously enjoyed it. But now you knew the memes were coming. You knew they were coming. You got the chalk meme of the guy smiling, and then when he found out what the game, that's everywhere now. That's everywhere. I was watching NFL yesterday. Oh, when you start Julio Jones, and then when he leaves the game with a hamstring. I tell you, there are some unoriginal folks out there, and You're looking at one of them. I remember that thing that I want. See, you have to have faith. Have to have faith in what you're thinking is going to come back to you. Here's that thing that left my head. When I started, I was going to say, this is a simulcast. I got Instagram going here, YouTube going here, all probably watched by a grand total of nobody. But then I got to thinking, in like a Squid Game type of mindset, there should be some sort of show. Like we already have shows like what is the one where you got three chairs and they spin them around? The Voice, right? Is that The Voice? I say that like you're actually going to be able to answer me. But The Voice has three people, and you start singing. You should have to, when you perform, like anything. If you're I don't care whether this applies to social media people, TikTok, like me right now. When you go live, you should not be told how many people are viewing or who's viewing. So, let's say, there's an absolute way to make this work. Let's say at the end of when I'm done with this live, because right now, I'm not going to lie, breathing pretty easy. There's no nothing tingling down my spine right now. But what if somebody told me the head of NBC is going to be watching, and that Charles in Charge remake that your big dream is actually going to be watching this? You think I might start sweating a little bit? You think I might start wiggling a little bit? So there should be a Squid Game-esque type of competition, I guess, without the death, where you do something live. If you're a performer in any capacity, you're a musician, painter. I don't know how many painters are on here, but whatever it may be, you don't know who's watching, but the range of outcomes are astronomical. It could be your ex-girlfriend, your boss, or it can be absolutely nobody. You could have the best performance ever. You go back and then you find, it's like Let's Make a Deal or something when you find out, or Deal or No Deal when you find out, like, they opened that $1. It was all for nothing. So that was what I was just thinking in terms of the Squid Game. Another idea I have, now this is more horror oriented. We are coming up on Halloween, and Halloween is obviously, I've mentioned many times, one of my, if not my favorite holiday. And I know that's pretty wild to say. You'd think there are so many other holidays to choose from. I'm not a Claus guy. I'm not, New Year's, huge scam. I've told you about that many times. You got to get tickets. They kick you out at 1 a.m. of a place that's open at 4 a.m. There aren't as many holidays to choose from. Now, if you celebrate 4th of July, you're considered a racist. Halloween's a great holiday, okay? And one of the things when I lived in Los Angeles that I enjoyed doing the most, and when I was just in Tampa, I got tempted to do it, but I didn't, was Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios. If you don't know what they are, they're not like people are like, oh, like when you go to Six Flags and there's a scarecrow walking around. No. Halloween Horror Nights does a unbelievable job. And they're also allowed to actually use characters from movies. Allowed to, like, you'll see a Beetlejuice haunted house or a Nightmare on Elm Street. They're themed around like the major characters from major horror movies, and it makes it that much better. It's not like generic ghost coming out at you. And they really do a good job. And it's like, if you're terrified, they do not care. They do not break character. Until one time they almost did, and I got them. But I have a theory, if you know about these Halloween horror nights, I have a theory on how to make it truly terrifying. Like, I know there's something in New York called, like, Blackout, where you have to sign a waiver. Now, this is a wild one. I don't even know. There's something out there. One of them is Blackout, I believe, and it's in Manhattan, or this is pre-pandemic, I don't know. You have to sign a waiver, and I think they like put something over your head. Like, they literally throw a sheet over your head and like tie it, and you're like being torched. I think they pour water on you. I don't know. That sounds wild. And for some reason, even though I am all about like going through something that's scary, that just doesn't do. I don't want the water poured on me, okay? But my idea is no less terrifying than that. So I suggest that if you go to Universal Studios on Halloween Horror Nights because you're into stuff like that, that over the course of the month, I think Halloween Horror Nights are open from September through the end of October, like Wednesday to Sunday, something like that. So there's X amount of nights, and I'm taking a basic calculation. I'm going to assume 2,000 people go into the park each night. Probably more. I really have no clue. I've never thought about how many. I've never thought about theme park max capacity. But let's say they have 5 nights a week, 2,000. That's 10,000 for a month and a half. Eight. Around 15. I'm going to say 20,000 people. Let's say 20,000. And I really think that's being. It has to be more than that. Let's say 20,000 people go into the park for Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios. My theory on how to make it truly terrifying, because they go the whole way, big budget for Halloween Horror Nights. I believe that one person, only one, of those 60,000 that enter Halloween Horror Nights for Universal Studios should actually be allowed to be stabbed. Because, look, if you're going, it's a 1 in 70,000, 80,000 chance of being stabbed. You're fine. You're fine. Well, then again, with that disease that's going on, I don't know how well people are doing with the numbers and the risk assessment, but 1 out of 80,000, and you get stabbed. What are the odds you're going to die from a single stab? But every single time that somebody runs up to you, if you're a thrill seeker, these people oh yeah, and I'm a base jumper, that chute's opening. I want to see Michael Myers sprinting at you at full speed, knowing that you could be the one to be stabbed. I want to see that thrill seeker's reaction then. Yeah, that's my idea if I'm still live. So going back to me going to Tampa and celebrating my birthday, I guess this is a good time. I think I have a couple scams this week. Let's start with the Magnum bottle scam. How about we do it? And now this is typically where you can have some scam of the week music playing, but unfortunately still haven't mastered the board. Okay, here's all I got. This is the one effect I have for all you all right? And that's the beep. I used to play hockey, and when you're in the center, your peripherals have to be working. How crazy is it that I just saw a little something move down there, which means somebody left a message? Unfortunately, I can't answer it because then this is going to be boring. But let me tell you about the Magnum bottle scam. So if you're in one of these places, and I didn't used to see this ever, but I guess it kind of shows you how many scumbags are now in this world. But when you get a bottle, let's say, I want to go out for my birthday, I'm going to get a bottle. Well, some of these places now ask you to, and this is the dumbest thing ever on their part, they make you check out right away. So you're like, a bottle of so-and-so, and then you check out right then and there, and then they bring out the bottle with all the mixers. I have zero incentive to tip you anything. I'm obviously going to give you, but now you're getting the flat rate. Whereas if you gave me good service, it's going to go up. But regardless, any place, if you live in one of these places or you go to a place where they make you check out right away, when they give you that bottle menu, and this worked twice in 1 week, try to get the liquor that you like the most and order the Magnum bottle, because the odds are, of all the things to be sold out, the Magnum bottles are ordered least frequently. And if they've already signed you out, now they're committed to having to give you 2 bottles. Because every single time they've never said, can we give you a... No, because they know, this is how you get them. You're going to cash me out right away? Well, then I'm going to order a weird bottle. And then when you go back and check and see you don't have it, now you have to give me 2, and you've lost out on the deal. So this is a very simple scam, and I told somebody about it before we went out, and then it actually... What a great feeling that is, by the way. You know how often that doesn't happen? Like if somebody shows up at your block every single day, 6:05, walking his dog, and you tell your friend, hey, yo, check it out. Every single day, 6:05, this guy comes by, walks his dog. You know the minute you tell your friend that guy ain't coming, but it was great. Maybe it was a little birthday gift to me. They said, we're not going to screw you. And it happened. I said I'm ordering the Magnum instead of the regular because I got a chance of screwing them, and I ended up screwing them. So that's a little tip for any of you people out there. If you're a dirtbag and go to places like me and try to get bottle service every once in a while, as you get older, I can't deal with those elbows anymore. I could still go out, have fun, party, but I need that elbow room. Okay, I need that elbow room. It's even why I have a smaller chair for this thing, but I didn't even have enough elbow room on the chair, so I went to the big black one. Hopefully you guys hear me, by the way. Too much testing, not enough people helping. Okay, this is you want to talk about a what? How many people do you know who can do all this by themselves? You know what's funny, for Instagram over there, I see a couple comments. For Instagram over there, for YouTube, I have a little slate, and it says, I can just hit this button, and it says, please hold, while I think of something funny to say. But over here on Instagram, you guys, I got to face the demons, okay? But going back to, I'm trying to parlay this all together. Part of the reason that I went down there and enjoyed celebrating my birthday is because although Halloween's my favorite holiday, I don't want to go out Halloween weekend. What is that? Are you groaning and growling at me because you're saying, "What are you kidding, man? You know how fun it is when girls dress up as referees and like this slutty outfits? There's no better time, man." You got scammed again. They got you again, and unfortunately, you fell for it. You fell for the holiday. I said this, I think maybe back in the spring. Never go to the weekend somewhere. Speaking of Tampa, my brother told me about this thing called Gasparilla, where everyone comes in and, they have their big boats. And well, if you go there for that weekend, it's no different than New Year. Everything's jacked up. If you want to enjoy an experience somewhere, you go the standard weekend. Now, let me get back to the Halloween. So, yes. If you're an eye candy person, then go ahead. Go out on Halloween. You're going to see every single outfit plus slut, okay? It's like in 90s wrestling, they were just occupations. Like Duke the Dumpster Droese was a garbage man and he wrestled. There was a CO officer. There was a long-haul trucker. There was a cop. There was a farmer. That's what Halloween is. But instead of occupation plus wrestler, occupation plus whore. And look, I mean no disrespect by it, but that's what it is. Okay? Like, if we did a thing where we put on vampire fangs, and I was a hockey referee with vampire fangs, and then I was a garbage man with we are vampire versions of those jobs. You know what I'm saying. But the reason I say that it's a scam is, how many people do you know that were like, I met that girl that I started to hang out with. I met her on Halloween. I went up to her when I looked like Billy from Stranger Things. And then I went up to her as she was just a slut referee. And we hit it off. And we talked about all sorts of things. We talked about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And we hit it off so much, we set up a date. Halloween is no dissimilar when you go to beer gardens. You're not meeting other people. People congregate in their groups. Nobody, I don't know. Like, look, I can't speak. I'm sure if you go to like Arizona State or something like that, maybe it's just inevitable. Well, every weekend's Halloween. Okay, you wouldn't be able to discern the difference between Halloween and June 28th. But it is way overblown. Congratulations. You're gonna go out. You're gonna see hot girls dressing in skimpy outfits. There are a lot of websites you can see that at too. But go ahead. Try to shove your way in. See how it does you. Now, this is where, hey, you ready? I have to use this once. Here comes the slate. Dink, please hold while I think of something funny to say. See, this is what happens if I don't do this for 2 weeks. Oh, yes. The Halloween Horror Nights. So the Halloween Horror Nights, I just told you about how to make it scary. Out of the 60,000 people who go in the park, someone should actually get stabbed. Relax. I want to tell you, one time when I went there, I said I used to go when I lived in California. So the rule is they're not allowed to touch you. These people are not allowed to touch you whatsoever. Like, it's part of the rules. And they're also not allowed to break character. That's like rule number 1, do not touch the guest. And number 2, do not break character. Theoretically, they get fired on the spot if they break character. But then again, who's monitor? Oh, do you mean to tell me there's little like druids amongst the crowd making sure that nobody ever breaks character? But anyway, one time I was walking through one of these haunted houses, and some guy, they make very aggressive moves, and they're brilliant at it. They go full sprint with a knife, and they miss you by 1/4 of an inch. The guy, he didn't miss me. He actually like brushed up against me. And now remember, this is a full cretin in character, like making all these sounds. And he like nudged me, and then I just looked at him. And the guy, I saw it behind his eyes. Yeah, it may have been all creature-esque out here, but I saw the worry behind his eyes. He froze and he looked at me. And then it's almost like he wanted a signal, and I didn't care at all. And I just like, no, man, it's good, keep going. He was just like, Barr! And he just scrambled to the next location with his growls intact. But I found that pretty hysterical. And in those situations, I'm not kidding you, these people do not break character. I saw a girl truly terrified on her hands and knees. She wouldn't look up. And they treat that like an orc horn. Like, they all go after her and surround her and make all these noises. They have chainsaws without the chains, but they make the same sound, and you smell the gas. And they're just blasting them by this girl's ear as she's crying. She's screaming and crying. And I enjoyed it not because I'm a man, because she's fine. They're not going to do anything. They're yanking a fake chainsaw. And here's how I know they're not going to do anything. One time in my thespian days, I was in a holding room waiting to go on an audition. And it was around this time of year. And I was talking to one of the guys. You know, sometimes you just kind of talk to the people who are waiting and whatever, make some bullshit conversations, unless it's a serious one, and then you kind of just stay focused. But I think it was for a commercial, and this guy's sitting there next to me, and I told him that I was going to Universal Studios for Halloween Horror Nights, and he goes, "Oh, really, man? I'm gonna be there." I go, "Oh, that's cool. Like, you going with friends?" He goes, "No. I'm Leatherface, like number 5. So if you go through the Texas Chainsaw, like I'm the 5th Leatherface." I found that so funny that this guy going on a subway audition during the day is Leatherface number 5 at midnight. That also reminds me of when I did an episode of Conan O'Brien, and they had a different sketch where somebody was dressed up as like a zombie, and we both had to check out together. And now mine, they just had me in like some soldier apparel, so it was fine. It was just like me in like colonial military garb. But this guy was legitimately a zombie, and this guy's just sitting next to me, waiting to be signed out. Like, do you know what that feels like? With pro makeup and everything, and you're just sitting next to this guy, and it's me looking like this, and a zombie. Right there. It's like the waiting room in Beetlejuice, if you've ever seen the movie. Like, you know, he's like, well, let me... It's a pretty funny endeavor. Look, I could keep going on about Halloween, and I'll close it off with one or two things. This was a little debate on one of my videos last year that Instagram got rid of because, of course. And it was about candy corn on Halloween and the sycophants who would claim to enjoy candy corn. And I don't know how you can be a young person at any point of your life and then go on to be an adult or even a semi-adult and give kids candy corn. You knew what it was like. You knew what it was like when you opened that bag and then that person reached to go give you something. You wanted the Reese's, you wanted the Snickers, you wanted the Hershey's with the almonds. And when they came with that candy corn, you just thought, you piece of shit. You cheap piece of shit. I'd rather have nothing. I'd rather have nothing. There were some people I remember, the scooper. They scooped candy corn and then just right into your bag. And if you have the audacity to claim that you enjoy candy corn, where's candy corn at the movie theaters? When you go to the movie theaters, oh yeah, I'll have a number one popcorn, one candy. Okay, sir, what candy you want with that? You want the crunch? No, there's no candy corn there. It's a one-day candy. And if you're a one-day candy, you're trash. All right? Wow, you're pretty passionate about candy corn. Well, you should see all other sorts of things. All right? It's not just limited to candy corn. And now I sound parched. I love that word, by the way. Now I sound parched. And my water's over there. And I'm sorry, I can't just get up and have people looking at an empty chair. Candy corn. Candy corn. Corn. One time, I went to my friend's party. He moved into a new apartment, and he had your vintage housewarming party. You know, where you say, oh, well, and I think, he was like 24 or something like that. And I showed up, and run-of-the-mill New York party. You're just in an apartment and say, this is all right. You want to go somewhere after? However, there was this girl there. She starts talking to me, and truth be told, we hit it off a little bit. I hit it off is not. It was one step under hitting it off, where I bet you she was like, that was good. And then I was just like, I think that was pretty good. So it wasn't a true hit off, but it was something along those lines. Get ready to understand. I told you there's a few moments in life you know you're not a good person. This was one of them. And she had a name I can't deal with. I cannot deal with this name I'm about to tell you. But just for shites and giggles, think about what name somebody could possibly tell me that would make me disinterested in hanging out with them. Think about it for a second. And as my friend once told me, and after you're done thinking about it, think about it again. What name? Dun, 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 dun. That's my best Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It's not Gertrude. It's worse than Gertrude. Okay? It's worse than Bethany. It's worse than Bethany. Your one hint, it has to do with the candy. All right, this is a good time for me to look over. Scott, you're going with Beth? It's not Beth. I did in college for a short period. I hung out with a girl named Bethany, and she was hot, but I can handle that because you can call her Beth or... I can handle that. This one was even beyond that. It's Ginny? No, it's God. The hint is, by the way, it has to do with the candy I just ranted about. Okay? Oh my God. Planet of the Apes. That's your second clue. And I'm not going to play this game where you're waiting for 45 years. So I'm going to give you 20 seconds to think of a name. And your two hints are Planet of the Apes, the original, and the candy that I just spoke about on Halloween. All right? This girl told me, I go, hi, I'm Andy. Like, oh, like Toy Story? I love how everyone says that, by the way. Yeah. Like, it's not some magical, weird name that you need Toy Story to remember. It's 4 letters, been around for generations. Andy. Oh, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Cornelia. Corn? You're corn? I can't. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm not showing up. I'm not. If somebody, one of my friends is not getting married, they're sending me an invitation. Do you want to RSVP plus one? Who's the other person? I'm not writing Cornelia. I can't. And I understand. I'm willing to bite the bullet. Say, well, I'm a bad person, but shame on her parents. Shame on her parents, and shame on her friends for not giving her a better nickname through the. You got to come up with something. You know how many I got rants. See, I don't even need a nickname, but if I needed to throw one out there, I got all sorts of ones. Got Kringle, Crick, Hogan. I got a million. Just say anything. Cornelia. Does anyone call her corny? Oh my God. It sucks on so many levels. If somebody's corny, they're cheesy. Somebody's foot is, oh my God. Couldn't do it. In my mind, I was seeing if you think she would let me call her Leah. No. But we all have our issues. You know, I meant to Cornelia and I couldn't do it. And if this is the moment where in 6 years somebody goes, this is who we're dealing. He hates people based on names. No, I just couldn't bring myself. Now I would. I would gladly date a Cornelia. But yeah, I couldn't do it. We all have our issues. Okay, we all have those things that we just can't bring ourselves to get past it. Do you want to hear a funny one? That a kid I know, a kid I know, this happened to him. He met some girl in New York. He went out with her. And every time that she brought the kid back to her place, she wanted to watch Terminator 2. What is going on? If somebody brought me back a second time and goes, hey, you want to watch Terminator 2? I would say, we just watched that. But you see, when you're into somebody, man, you're willing to do a lot. Fortunately, Terminator 2, great movie. I could probably do it 2, maybe 3 times the most. But I mean, come on, how many times are we watching Terminator 2 out there? And if there's anything you know about me, I don't give you fake stories. And if you're listening, look, dude, I didn't say your name. Nobody's gonna be able to figure out who it is. But these are real stories. These are real stories. And I shouldn't even have to apologize. And by the way, now's your chance. I'm giving you the heads up. I have this thing where I try not to be too aggressive until the time calls for it. We know my whole life I've had the opinions, and we all know they were never going to stop coming out. But the way I look at things is, you know, when life starts pulling too hard this way, then I got to start yanking the other way. And that's going to bring me into the Dave Chappelle nonsense. Absolutely hilarious special. Absolutely hilarious special. Just like Sticks and Stones. Once again, go to Rotten Tomatoes and see the fake projection of the world that we live in, where Rotten Tomatoes gives it under 10% and users 99 out of 100, 97 out of 100 absolutely love it. There's a fake prism thing that's going on where they're taking light and refracting it in a way to suggest that we're seeing and living in one thing when we absolutely are not. It's not indicative of the way things are actually going. And then the fact that it keeps going on, trying to continually drag his name through the mud. It's funny. It's funny, and people enjoy it, and it's jokes. I don't know what is going on here. I was just texting some of my friends, and it's like, there's a movie called The Faculty, another horror movie, classic late 90s, early 2000s, Josh Hartnett, so many people, like Mia, that's her name, Jordana Brewster, so many people are, and what happens is Elijah Wood, and Jon Stewart. So what happens in that movie, if you're familiar, like, people are starting to turn one at a time, and they don't know who it is, and turn into like these kind of like alien monster hybrids or whatever the hell it is. And one by one, people like amongst the friends, they've already turned and they don't know it. And I think they make them like sniff a drug or something that's the only way to prove that they actually are still fine. But like you look around, what is going on? What is going on? Randy Moss, straight cash homie, been in the huddle his whole life. Think about the things Randy Moss used to do. Say he mooned the Packers fans. He mooned the Packers fans. And he's crying on TV. Now, look, I ain't defending the Gruden thing or anything like that. But I'm just so pissed of the fake, like everyone going, it's nonsense. It is. It is. And I'm not making this no political nonsense, but it's absolute garbage. All like, I swear to God, when you turn on all these things, you feel like you're in the fact. I feel like I'm the last guy left seeing things a certain way, but I know it's not true. You look at the Rotten Tomato, when people actually can say how they feel without having to have, their face destroyed by social media, then you see how it actually is. You got who did I see yesterday or a couple days ago? Jonah Hill. Let me see if damn it, I don't have my phone next to me. But Jonah Hill, there's a picture of him saying, hey, everybody, if you cannot comment on my body on social media, I know everybody has the best intentions in mind. Motherfucker, your whole life is like you got to where you are because of your comedy. You're the roast of James. You're shitting on all these people. Like, are we forgetting this? Are you forgetting your roles? Like, I don't understand what this magic snap of the fingers. It's like a hypnotize. Hey, Jonah Hill, guess what? You were once a fat shit, then you were once a skinny shit, and now you're probably in the middle. Who cares? You have everything I would like. How about we switch places? How about this? I get a nice fat gut, and then I get to be in Scorsese movies, and I get to do all these things, and then all these people on social media can call me a fat piece of shit, and then you get to come here while you're trying to use one hand on Instagram, one hand on YouTube, and one hand on everything, and let's see how quickly you wouldn't mind a couple Twitter comments. I mean, it is unbelievable, this nonsense that's going. Hey, look, I told you we were going to get there, and look, I only address this when it's gone batshit crazy. Because you watch these things, you watch all of them. It's like when you go out there in the real world and you talk, someone's like, oh, yeah. And then even people like somebody you could have a conversation with about a certain topic, and you're like, oh, yeah, it's a weird thing. And then you see their take on it on social media, and you go, who is that guy? Everyone is a Harvey Dent now. I mentioned this once. There's the real face. I guess the real question is it the crooked, ugly one, or is it the nice one? And I think that's pretty much where I can end this.